Hello, I think we're all okay now. Hello and welcome back to the What is K-pop podcast, where in which I talk about basically whatever I want to talk about in regards to K-pop. Normally groups, members, discographies, choreographies, outfits, concept pictures. I will eventually get onto concept pictures. Survival shows. I've been doing survival shows. Maybe I'll talk about Isaac, which is the the K-pop sport event thing that happens every year. And today I have a bit of a headache, honestly, and I feel kind of like shitty, if I'm going to be honest. But like it's okay. I took some paracetamol. Like we're okay. But yeah, I actually wanted to talk about a discography. I was going to make my first episode on a discography Stray Kids, but that one's coming whenever I plan that one. And today's episode is actually just going to be me talking about my personal opinion on EXO's music, because I have listened to a bit of EXO's music just throughout the time in which I've been a K-pop fan. I kind of liked their like special mini album thing that they released in 2021, but I'll have to say that like my first real instance of EXO music was with their latest album that they released in 2023, which was called, I believe it was called Exist. Yeah, Exist. In July, and yeah, I'm gonna talk about that once we get. We're having a bit of trouble with the internet. Sorry about that. It's because it's kind of rainy, and honestly, like I live out in the sticks, kind of. Like it's getting more like there's more houses being built round about where I live. So there's less sticks than it was when I was a lot younger, but you know, it is still significant enough for me to not always be able to talk freely with the internet being as questionable as it is. My mum might randomly pop in and see who I'm talking to, but I am just hopefully she's kind of like, oh, she's talking to a laptop, she's recording a pod, because I didn't close the door mainly because of the fact I'm sitting with laundry on my lap and it's nice and warm and I don't want to move. So yeah, the first thing on like their discography list was if I can fucking scroll in here, I'd have to like get up and go get my plug-in mouse, because I stole one from the drawer in our from that has like our main computer on it. I always record on my laptop, mainly because of the fact that like the laptop has a microphone on it and big brain energy requires that, and I don't really want to exude too much energy that I don't have to at the moment, so we're just gonna have to suffer right now. Anyway, how have you lots' days been recently? Like honestly, in like where I live, it's been really weird weather. Like I don't know if it's like a storm's been going on, not like a storm, but I don't know whether or not it's like what do you call them? Well, yeah, I guess you could call them a storm, but like it's just been really windy, like where I live specifically, and like we're used to that sort of stuff. Like it's pretty common, and but like even I'm a little bit like kind of not like scared, obviously, like it's just a bit of wind, but like it is kind of a bit strange that there's been so much wind. And apparently there's going to be snow at the weekend, so when my parents are taking my sister back, I'm probably going to have to like deal with the cats being out in the snow, and I'm not looking forward to that. Like honest to God, this will be probably, yeah, I think would be Petal's first experience in snow, which is gonna be interesting because I know for a fact that she's gonna want to investigate every single little piece of the goddamn snow, and I'm gonna be like, Petal, stop trying to die. But you know, honestly, I just she never ceases to amaze me. That cat doesn't. Anyway, so EXO's first piece of work was their first album. No, it wasn't. What am I talking about? They debuted in 2012. So why does it say 2013? Okay. Right. Well, I can't rank it. Oh, Mama. Right, yeah, no, I didn't listen to that. I'm trying to think. It was that one in the parking lot. That sounds gross for me to say. The car park, the parking structure, wasn't it? Where they were like, it was like duh 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 duh. duh. I can't sing. Duh duh. Yeah, it was. It wasn't Wolf because I know what that one is. Like, I'm a wolf. Oh, woo! We like to have fun over here. It was. God, what was that one called? Mama? Was it Mama? EXO Mama. I feel like it wasn't. I feel like a lot of EXO's music, at least from the early times, like, at least this is my own opinion, you can disagree if you want to, that it's very much made for that period of time in. We're having so many troubles with internet. It was definitely made for that time in K-pop, and honestly, it's not like a criticism. It's just an observation. But I wonder if there are like people who get into K-pop, like me, get into K-pop kind of later on, and they hear these songs and they're like, okay. You can definitely tell it's like made for that time. Like, honestly, that is just my opinion. You can disagree with me on that one, but honestly, feel free to disagree with me because it is just my opinion here. I'm the only one that's recording at the moment. It's really bad to say this, but I'm trying to find a song that I've listened to that I can talk about. Exodus, I think that was their mini album. I believe I did listen to Call Me Baby, but I don't remember. Also, random fact. Ooh. I just stopped breathing. Oh my god, do you ever just like randomly just like forget how you actually breathe for a second? We're having many issues with the internet today. Okay, so we're just going to go onto the Wikipedia page because I'm getting stressed and I don't want to. Also randomly, I have like this little pot that had Ferrero Rochers in it, which is like this weird chocolate thing that you can get in the UK. I think you can get it in other places. That just has a load of groups like in it that I just pull out from, and like I can talk about them if I want to. And I've been trying to do that, but like also having a members option as well, so that I can just like pull one up because I want to do like their like what do you call it, like concept photos. I really want to talk about concept photos and like my opinion on their outfits and stuff because if you didn't know, I did fashion or did textiles in school, so I do kind of know what I'm talking about ish. Keyword being ish. I know sort of kind of what works well together and kind of that sort of period in fashion history, I guess you could say. I know like bits and bobs from like over the years when I was kind of massively into that, and you know, getting into watching a lot of interviews, I've noticed that like their outfits are very stage like. They're the sort of things that you've probably seen on stage, but it also can have elements of being comfortable, because obviously these people actually have like, they do press circuits every comeback, and they go around different like places doing the different types of like promos. So they're probably doing like a good handful of interviews each day, and if you're not comfortable, then it's just going to be absolute hell on you. Obviously there are going to be some issues when it comes to outfits that I'm sure there are like you can't really do anything about. Like there was one with Stray Kids' Lino that he was very like he was very annoyed at, or at least it seemed like he was annoyed at the stylists for putting him in like such an uncomfortable outfit that like you could tell that he was like pulling up and down his shirt and his trousers, like trying to like become more comfortable, because like he has a scar on his stomach and he doesn't like it to be seen. So obviously like they try and cater to that, but in doing so they made it pretty uncomfortable for him to try and dance. And like being able to talk about that is like actually like so fun for me. I know like I sound sarcastic often when I talk, but like genuinely that's like the sort of stuff that I love to talk about, because you know, for me, if you actually saw a picture of me, if I was to become famous, I did meet and greets and that's such stuff, like that sort of stuff. I would love to do that, by the way. If like you ever saw me, you would be like, oh my god, this girl, she wears comfort outfits basically all the time. And I'm like, yeah, I do. Like, I don't know how to dress myself properly, but I know how to dress other people, which is like the weirdest flex ever. But it is one of those things that I'm like, this is really odd about me. Also, finally got onto the discography kind of thing, because I've just been talking at my ass for the last couple of minutes. The Chinese version of Mama, their debut EP, actually had Shiny of Key of Shiny on the 5th track, Two Means. I said that really weirdly. So it goes Mama, What is Love, with Chen and Lu Han in it. History, then Angel with Chen, Lu Han, Lei and Xiumin. Then we have Two Moons with Chris, Tao, Lei, Xiumin and Key of Shiny, and then we have Machine. So you know, a good oh my god, one of them was made by Teddy Riley. Teddy Riley, the first expansion into Asia. jokes, that's from Rania, which is a group that I am going to be talking about at some point, because they are the biggest mess up, in my opinion, in the entirety of K-pop, and that's saying something. That is, honest to God, saying something. But yeah, no, that's amazing. And also, like, EXO didn't come back for like another year. That was released in April, their debut EP, and their debut album didn't come out until June of the next year. So SM really kept them in the basement for like a good hot minute. But I assume that they were working on like both things at the same time, and it's just that like Mama just got released first. Okay, so XOXO, the first album, and we have Wolf, Baby Don't Cry, sung by Suho, Baekhyun, Chanyeol, and Dio. Black Pearl, Don't Go, Let Out the Beast. 365, Heart Attack. Peter Pan, Baby. Wolf, the EXO-K version, and Wolf again, that I guess is the Chinese one. Wait, okay. And then for the Chinese proper version, we have Wolf again. Baby Don't Cry, doesn't say who sang it, okay. Black Pearl, Don't Go Down. And then we have the XOM version of Wolf, and just, I guess, the Korean. No, it's I guess it's the version. Jesus Christ, I think it's just the version of all 12 members. You can tell when I'm like looking at something, when I'm like just talking. Like, if you ever are wondering what I'm actually doing when I'm like talking, just like wait for a random like expression of just like what, and then you're like, oh, she's doing something. Because I cannot sit still. Me and my sister were talking about this actually, because she's been really like quite chaotic, and I don't think she'd mind me saying this. I don't know, I'm saying it anyway. Sorry, Bexley. That like she has been quite energized when in the 3 weeks she's been back, because she's going back on Saturday, so I'll probably not be mentioning her too much after that. And like she was saying about how we often joke about the fact that neither of us can have energy drinks because we both have like an insane amount of energy. It's weird, like for me, obviously, like I do get tired, but I don't have naps, whereas my sister, she loves a good nap, but like I can barely get myself to sleep at night anyway. Like I'm often thinking about what I'm going to be talking about the next day in the pod, and so it sometimes gets to the point where like I have to be like, okay, we just need to think about something nice so then we can go to sleep. And often like it's about something that's like going on like soon in my life. Like we go on holiday soon, so I'm probably going to be thinking about that tonight, and like just being like, come on Sophie, let's go to sleep now. And my brain's just like, okay, I'm just going to stay up for another 2 hours thinking about all the mistakes we've made so far in our life. And I'm like, please don't. How about we rein that back in and we don't think about all the mistakes I've made, because I have made a disgusting amount. Like I just like off the top of my head, something that I've done in my life. I pushed one of my friends into a bush because she offended me. That's a random thing that I can just pull out. Or I used to be obsessed with hand sanitizer, but I would often put on too much, and I would wipe it on my school skirts. So that just completely obliterated the reason as to why I even put on the hand sanitizer in the first place. And you know, I burst into an office of an office worker trying to just do her work because I was having a panic attack and I needed someone to help me. And then I backtracked out of the office in embarrassment. There are a lot of other things that I could say, but I feel like I would just be here forever. So yeah, no, that's a fun little thing. Sorry, I keep on bashing the laptop. I have no ability to stop myself from doing stuff when I'm recording. So the third EP, and which was so we had XOXO, then we had a Christmas album, then we have Overdose, which I think has a really cool like album design. It's very it very much reminds me of those like little games you used to get as kids, where like your parents would give you one to shut you up because you've been a bit too chaotic and you just need to calm down. And it would be like this maze with a little metal ball, or it might be wooden, it depends on what it is, that you have to get into the middle of the maze. And sometimes there'd be like a couple of them, and you'd have to like get them all into the maze, into like these little divots, I think they're called, or like these dip things, and you'd have to like tilt it to try and get it to go like up and down the winding parts of the maze. And that just reminded me of that so much. Like I had some of them because at our local fish and chip shop, like we have German Street, then we have one at the top of town. We have at least 3 fish and chip shops, and I think there's one more by the train station, but it is one of those shops that like easily closes down because of like health and safety, sanitation, and all that good stuff. We have 3/4 fish and chip shops, and we have a couple of Chinese restaurants as well, but that's completely irrelevant. Like they'd give us like toys, because obviously when I was younger I like have the child's portion, so they gave toys, and I got one of those as a toy, and I was just sat there at the kitchen table just like playing with this game, and my parents were just like, silence for once, because me and my sister we both had our like chaotic hours at like 7 p.m, and then we'd just pass out ready for bed. Like we were those sorts of children. Like I'm surprised that my parents never like considered ever getting us tested for ADHD, because my dad definitely has it. But to be fair, I already have the autism diagnosis, so I'm no longer in school. I don't really plan to go forth and like try and see what else might be going on in the brain, because at the end of the day it's not going to really do anything for me that like is going to be significant enough for me to ever feel like better about like my experience with life so far, because I actually would love to talk about this, and I do plan to in my own episode about myself on my birthday. But like I was very heavily mistreated in school by my teachers, in the sense of that they what's the word for this, they didn't want to believe that I was having such bad anxiety and like meltdowns and disassociation and like lots of other like issues, that to the point that like I very nearly left a few times during the space of 6 months of my last year, and several times over like the years preceding it, because of how much my teachers often said that I was like just like refusing to go into the lesson. And it wasn't like that, obviously has the connotations of being bad, but like I was refusing, but I was refusing because I couldn't physically be in that room without feeling like as though I was going to have a mental breakdown. And it was because of like sensory issues and putting so much pressure on myself that I was basically like in fight or flight mode constantly in school. And like obviously things have gotten better in schools and stuff like this. Like honest to God, I'm so pleased with like the progress that has been made so far, and I'm glad that like even though a situation like mine shouldn't have happened, I'm pleased that it did, because it can be a cautionary tale, I guess, in the sense of what could happen if like diagnoses take a long time, especially when a kid is displaying such obvious symptoms or like signs from such a young age, and kind of what could come from if you don't take parents seriously, and you know, that like kind of side of it. Like, yeah, I mean, I am sad that like that shit, the bed. Oh, sorry, I just had something creepy. Like, even though that stuff happened, it was sucked. It for change to happen now, that needed to have occurred. Like, we needed to see where the problems lied in order to be able to fix them. And yeah, it's something that I kind of hope that when I have my own children in the future, we're kind of able to get to a point where we have more fruitful discussions about kids' mental health, and like discussing better treatment plans, and like actually talking to the child on like their level, instead of like first of all talking to them like an actual child, or talking to them like the adult they actually aren't, because I had both ends of that constantly, like literally constantly. Now, one teacher would talk to me like a child, and the next teacher would talk to me like an adult, and this was happening when I was like 14, 15 years old. And I think that definitely kind of messed with me a bit in ways that I don't think I've fully been able to comprehend. I don't know why I got into this, by the way. I'd love to know where like the conversation divulged into my opinions on mental health in schools. But yeah, I do hope that whatever kind of carries on in the future with mental health and discussions about like putting in things into schools does carry on in a very positive direction, and that you know, things can go well for it. So obviously there are like good sides and bad sides to a lot of these situations that I'm talking about now, but you know, you never know what's going to happen in the future. Speaking of being mistreated, my God, worst segue ever. On the 15th of May 2014, EXO's leader Chris filed a lawsuit against EXO Entertainment to terminate his contract, citing his neglected health and the company's violation of human rights. Funny that. I'm just going to say it. That's funny. Ha ha. You make me laugh, Chris. Yeah, if you don't know, and I'm just going to talk about it for like, I don't know, like a couple of minutes, so feel free to skip ahead a few minutes. It's very ironic that Chris decided to do that, knowing what we know about him now, and knowing what he was willing to do to innocent women, just to get some. And I do hope that when he's finished his 13-year sentence in China, when he gets deported, he is also prosecuted under Canadian laws too, and that he spends the rest of his pitiful little life in prison, or, you know, doing certain medical procedures and stopping any prospect of little Chris's walking around on this earth. That seems a little bit dramatic. Okay, so for anyone who skipped ahead, hi. Hope that you're feeling good. You know, we're not going to talk about it anymore. Don't worry. I honestly don't want to talk about it myself. I hate the man. Okay, next piece of art that has been produced by EXO. We have the second studio album of EXO called Exodus, released on the 30th of March 2015. And it was, oh, that was the re-release of Love Me Right, okay. It was the first album not to feature Chris and Luhan, as they, Chris left in May, Luhan left in October. Tao, this would be the last piece featuring Tao, as he suspended his activity a month later in August and departed from the group following this. The album was actually the background, not the background, the press conference that was held from SM didn't actually have Lay in it, which would probably start the old issues with Lay being a part of EXO's discography. My feelings on Lay, I don't know a hell of a lot about him to really form an opinion. I was watching his Zach Sang interview a little bit because like I was watching it a little bit before before my mum actually came in to watch a film with me a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, you know, he seems like he's having fun doing whatever he's doing, and that's the main thing I can say about life is love what you do and do what you love. Like I'm enjoying this so far. I'm making phone charms as well on the side. I'm in college again. You know, I'm doing what I love, and I'm pleased for that. Even though, you know, to some it might seem as though I'm having an unfulfilled life. I've actually been told that, and I'm like, am I? Am I really having an unfulfilled life? Because first of all, I'm still here. I get to eat whatever the hell I want to from the kitchen cupboards because I still live with my parents. I still, first of all, live with my parents, so if I have an issue, I can go to them whenever I want to. I have 2 amazing cats, and my parents pay for my expensive shampoo. Yeah, trust me to buy one of the most expensive shampoos on the market. We gotta love it. I'm sort of joking, but also sort of not. So what can I just yeah, so this is, I think, one of the last releases with like separate Korean and Chinese versions, and you know, I kind of respect it. You know, it's cool to have different things for different markets. Sometimes I do actually think though that they should have separate songs in for just the Japanese market, because they do for the English one, but if it works for them, it works for them. Sing For You is the 4th extended play. We're also just going to be generally just like talking about this for a little bit longer. We're not going to do all of them because, you know, my voice is getting a little bit tired. I'm tired, and you know, we're just having fun. We're just chatting the shit. We're just chatting shit today. Sing For You is the 4th extended play, released on the 10th of December 2015, which is another one of their holiday albums. It was their first piece not to feature Tao, as he left the group via lawsuit in August 2015. I, in 2015, was turning 12. Had to think about that just then. Yeah, honestly, I was one of the youngest in my my whole year, and my best friend was actually only just slightly younger than me. and my parents were talking to them about us two because we were friends, and they were like, "Oh, Sophie must be like one of the youngest in the year because she was born. I was born on the 26th of August," and they were like, "No, no, she's not. Our kid is," and they said her name. And my parents were like, "Okay, this isn't weird at all." Oh, Unite's having a comeback. That's brilliant. And we were just, I don't know, like, I'm just gonna bitch about them for a second because I know for a fact that, like, you'll probably never find out who this girl is. Like, our parents were just so odd. There's like so many of my friends that, like, my parents have then gone on to meet them and their family, and pretty much every single one of them, part one family, who was like my best friend, always said to me, you know, they're really weird. Their whole family is really weird. And one of my friends, actually tried to get a weekend, like a free weekend with us because she didn't want to go to her family, her extended family. And all I can say about that whole situation was when I went to school, like on the following Monday, I was like, "Girl, are things that bad at your house that like you wanted a blagger free weekend with us?" I'm like, "Girl, our house isn't even that nice. Like, it is nice, obviously." I'm just gonna put no, it's not bad. Oh, I love being what you call it? I love bragging about my life. Oh, I love it. Oh, this is amazing. Oh, Jesus. I'm gonna get myself punched one of these days, but do I care? No, I don't. So we're moving on a little bit further on because this is the first album that I can really actually talk about my opinion on. Is The Wall, the fourth studio album, released on the 18th of July 2017, and it was the first piece of music that Lay was not featured in after the start of his extended indefinite hiatus. I wonder if he's like officially still on hiatus. If we scroll down a moment. Yeah, when I first like saw the album cover, I'll be honest, I was like, this album cover makes no sense whatsoever. And it still doesn't make sense in the slightest. And yeah, I was thinking about it, I'm like, it doesn't have to make sense. Like, most album covers don't make sense because they're supposed to convey the art of it. And I think it's meant to be a flower that's like been smushed. Maybe? Like, does it say? No. The repackage with all the arms is like even uglier. I'm gonna be honest, it's absolutely disgusting looking, but it's more understandable because they're all connected in making EXO what it is. But like, I seriously do not get this piece of art. Can I search image with Google? Is it gonna tell me what it is? It doesn't help. Okay. Oh, Birds of Paradise flower. Is that what it's called? Is that what it is? Oh, that's actually quite cool. So it's a flower. Well, ain't that interesting? You learn something new every day. But yeah, no, I still find it absolutely disgusting. There are probably people listening to this that are like Sophie, it's really pretty. I like it. And I'm like, I'm not going to tell you what you should or shouldn't like. I'm just here to say my opinion. But like genuinely, there are some albums that are just not it. I will be talking again. I keep on saying this. I will be talking about it at some stage. It's just, you know, I have like this planner that I like put down what I kind of want to record, and that isn't one of the things that I want to record just yet. Okay, so Laid. I love how all of this was ending in me actually searching up whether or not Lay's in hiatus. So he technically went on hiatus at the start of 2017, came back just at the end of 2018 for, I guess, some, like, I think it was Tempo. And then he made his return very briefly for Can't Fight This Feeling, but didn't return for Exist. And to be fair, there's another Chinese idol. It's actually, to be fair, it's a little bit strange that it's always Chinese idols, but there's this group called Pentagon under Cube, and they have this member called Yanan, and he has probably, actually, I genuinely do think so. I think he's been in hiatus more than he actually has been a like active member of the group, and it's like in part due to like his own health, but also like family issues. And I wonder kind of if like he's opened up an Instagram and he was on a TV show, so I wonder if he's still like a part of the group, or whether he actually left at the end of his contract and Cube just doesn't want to say. But I do always kind of wonder as to if it is because they are Chinese. I'm a bit controversial in saying that. To be fair, what can Cube do? Well, they could sue me, actually. They could sue my ass. There isn't really much that you could get from me, Cube, if I'm going to be honest. And it's no hate to you, no hate, no shade. It's just my opinion. But, you know, it does kind of beg the question of whether or not it is a Cube decision. Especially with, like, the length of his hiatuses. I'ma just be real. I like being real here. We like to talk about things that are a little bit controversial. So yeah, it doesn't explicitly say. Okay. Randomly, just want to say that a couple of the members did not renew their contracts, and then Sean sort of just decided that like a month later he was going to cancel his contract, which I'm like, dude, that's like a decision that you made, didn't you? You just don't want to make that decision, didn't you? But no, it is probably it's probably one of those things that he was just like, actually, I don't think I'm getting anywhere here, so I'm just like dip, which is fair enough. I'll be honest. When I heard the news, I was like, fair kid, fair. That's a fair thing you did there, didn't you? But yeah, Pentagon is also one of those groups that I don't really take much notice of either. There's like a consistent theme in like a lot of these things that I'm just like, do I even actually listen to K-pop? And I'm like, I do. Don't get me wrong, I do, because I was listening to, I have like this like playlist that's actually just called songs, that I keep songs on there that I want to listen to as of like at night time when I'm just like reading fan fiction. And I often will have like the vast majority of the music that's on there is actually K-pop music. And I think it's because of the fact that like I don't have like, if the lyrics aren't in English, I won't sing along to it, so like often the songs won't get stuck in my head as easily. Because my mum will attest to this if I ever get her on the podcast, that like she sings all of the time. And she says it's because it makes her happy, but I think it's because it annoys the hell out of us. So that's why she does it, because she knows that like we'll just be constantly annoyed with her. But yeah, on to the War album. The song that I think really that like I've listened to obviously the most is The Eve, and honestly, I feel like that one could have been the title track, not Coco Bop, which I mean, controversial opinion, maybe. But I think the Eve's dance practice is actually one of the most viewed dance practices ever, and that's because it's an amazing song and it's amazing dance. I'll just be honest with that. Hello, Betsy.
We talk about
EXO's Discography. Oh, well done, you got dressed.
screw you.
I love you too. And they made a Chinese version. Maybe that was just the thing that they just do. That's a live album. We'll just skip over that because it's all of their other songs. And they released another special album in December. Well, Christmas one, maybe. And then they made a Japanese. Oh, don't mess up my tempo. Ba, 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 ba. I said don't mess up my tempo. Da, da, ba, 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 ba. Da, 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 da. Don't mess up my tempo. Yeah, I think we can establish that the song is called Tempo and that I know the lyrics. Lay made an appearance on the album. We love to see it, but only in the title track for the not Japanese, what the hell am I on? Chinese version of Tempo, and I believe it was the last, not the last, but like the last air quotes release that Schumann was in before he did his military service. I also liked one of the other songs that I can't remember its name right now. We've got to love it. Oh, and they also released Love Shot. It's the love shot. Ooh, I can't sing. Beware, headphone users. I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna be honest. I am so sorry. We just love to have fun. We love a good bit of fun around here. So, just casually, I'd love to know if anyone wants to chime in. Has anyone from here ever went to go and see EXO? And if so, what were they like? Obsession is a 6th studio album without Schumann, and surprisingly, Dio wasn't meant to go for his military service until like a few years afterwards, but I guess he was like, well, Schumann's already gone, or Bin Sok is that's her actual name, is already gone, you know, maybe like I don't really need to be here right now, like we'll just do our military service now, which I mean is fair enough, you know, you can technically do your military service whenever you want to in between the ages of 18 and 28, or like up to 30 I think actually. Most idols do choose to do it kind of as late as possible, which I mean fair fucking enough, dude. Like, honestly, it sounds about right. So yeah, next next release was an EP. Looks like unlike the live albums, we don't count those. It was released on the 7th of June 2021, marketed as a special album and a gift to the fans. Ooh, we love to. Oh, I see it now. So it's like the E is there, and then it's the K, like it's the X, and then it's the whole thing is the O. You know, that actually makes sense. Pardon me. I don't think wait. Let's say, okay, that's fine. In mid-2020, Chen and Suho went on hiatus to enlist. Dio and Xiumin obviously rejoined the group. And the active members, Xiumin, Chanyeol, Baekhyun, Dio, Kai, and Sehun, commemorated the anniversary, revealed that they were going to be releasing a new thing. And Lei was a part of the project, however he didn't meet up with the members due to the pandemic. That little evil thing that I will be talking about. Just my opinion on stuff. It's not going to be that deep, don't worry. Like I will always like tell you when you should probably listen to something, but to be fair, that episode's just going to be me chatting shit about the pandemic. We gotta love it. Because I am mad. I caught the virus twice, and both times it wasn't even me that brought it into the house. It was both my parents. My mum was first because she works in the hospital. My dad brought it home from work just before he was about to leave. I was pissed. Oh, yeah, it made me very ill. Anyway, we're not going to be talking about that because that is a discussion for another day. So, what can I say in regards to this? Not much. I love how I said earlier, this isn't going to be all the discography, and yet I'm talking about all of it because I can make the decisions. No, I'm not talking about like the special albums, because to be fair, I know not much about them. I know not much about EXO's discography, it seems. So, yeah. Exist is the 7th studio album, released on the 10th of July 2023, and Kai was not promoted, did not promote with the group as he was serving his military service. He was serving his well done, Sophie, you managed to do the sentence. He was doing his military service at the time, but he did manage to record for the album. In January of last year, so 2023, Suho announced that they would be releasing music in spring. Obviously that didn't fully happen, but as I mentioned a few times, dates for release can be pushed back, especially considering the lawsuit that happened between 3 of the members. But you know, it's not that bad if it's like only pushed back by a little bit, in my opinion. But yeah. I have all 3 of the tracks that actually are highlighted in the composition. So I have Cream Soda, Hear Me Out, and Let Me In. Honestly, I love Cream Soda. It's so EXO. I'm like, it's so them. I know a lot of people are like, nah, it's not. But like, in my opinion, in my very, very bad biased opinion, because I love Xiumin in that bloody top, it was so pretty. It definitely was. It was more or less them saying like, yeah, we can still make music. We're still good. As opposed to like really a proper EXO release. Hello, Daddy. But you know, it still is a release. And my dad just closed the door. I've forgotten the train of thought that I had. Some might say that they didn't have it in the first place. But Cream Soda was definitely a song that was. It serves very much as like a come back so then people still know we're here. I think, in my opinion, of just it's sort of like how Shiny released after hard after Taemin's release from the military, kind of as like a gift to fans, I think, as opposed to really like trying to make a piece of music for the industry. I don't know. My opinion. There we go. Shiny is technically was active for 10 years, took like a 3-year break, then came back in 2021. But they didn't obviously release anything whilst Tim was in the good old military. So yeah, no, I don't think I have anything else I want to talk about in regards to EXO's discography. Except from that, it's very, very not me. Like, I don't really actively go about thinking to myself like, oh, I want to listen to EXO. Like, I'll listen to them, but it's never really been something that I've actively wanted to really listen to. And that is just an opinion that I have. You can disagree with it however you want to. But you know, I don't think that EXO is ever going to be a group that I really want to listen to that much, unless like, you know, anything like extremely drastic happens and, you know, they release like the song of the year, then maybe I'll listen to it. But you know, it is like important to kind of regard your own opinion in things and not just like something because everyone else is. Because like at the end of the day, like we all have differing opinions on everything. And being able to kind of actively say to yourself like, no, I don't want to listen to this because I don't like this sort of music. It shows that like you are a developed music listening to, I guess, if you wanted to kind of go down that path, because often my parents and my dad especially is often like, oh, have you ever listened to X song? I'm like, well, no, because every single like rock song I've listened to is a song that you've put on when we've been, you know, in the car together. And like, I'm not going to sit down and say to myself like, oh, I want to listen to a Led Zeppelin song, because that's just not my cup of tea. And it's the same as like with EXO. It's like, I can appreciate their work, but for me that just isn't the music that I personally want to listen to. But yeah, wrapping up today's episode, we're going to that was my shoulder! Ew! I've been talking about EXO's discography, just saying some of my thoughts, and also just randomly talking about my own mental health for some reason. But yeah, I do hope that you enjoyed today's mini episode. It's not really mini because I've been talking for nearly 50 minutes, but random episode that I wanted to film. I think my dinner's nearly ready, so I'm gonna go now and hopefully eat that. I do hope you have a nice rest of your Friday, or whatever day of the week you are listening to this on, and I'll see you in a little bit. Bye!